Hey guys, welcome back to the Soul Aligned Self Care Podcast. I'm going to take this bracelet off because it makes so much noise when I'm recording. So, this week we're continuing on with the Deep Level Self Care series, and we are talking about decluttering the space, or the title of the episode is Creating Flow by Decluttering. Okay. And I love decluttering. You guys probably know that by now. And decluttering space, you might say to me, not now, Tina, because the holidays are coming up and we have enough to do. But um, hear me out, because the way I do decluttering is way different and it's a lot more fun. And even if you're not going to do it now, you could do it later. You could save this episode for later, but I do it in a way to make it fun and light and easy, not like this big job that has to get done. If you were like me and you read the book, trying to remember the name, I always forget the name, The Magic Art of Tidying Up or something like that. I can't remember the exact title. I think I'm screwing that up a little bit. Great book, but the job itself kind of overwhelming. I think she does it all at once, which was like too much for me. And sometimes if I have a job that's just a little too much, then it's just not going to get done. It's going to be pushed aside, pushed aside. So one of the things that I do different is I take baby steps, because I know baby steps lead to big changes, and baby steps help you gain confidence. Baby steps also help you gain momentum, right? And baby steps don't take as long. Okay, so that's the first thing. And also, I want to say some of the decluttering the space doesn't involve like physical items, and so I'll get into that a little bit later. But first of all, let's talk about the benefits of decluttering, right? So when we declutter, we create space and flow in that space, right? This helps us reduce stress and anxiety and changes the energy of that space to more positive, which then raises the energy of inside of you, in the room, and in the presence of itself. All right. When we create the space, we also make room for new things to come into our life. And it's like it creates a vacuum. So, like, say you're decluttering your closet, you create that space. Say you want new clothes, you want to bring new clothes into your life. Well, then clean out the old, create that space for those new things to come in. And that's just kind of how it works. And so, I'll go over a few different examples as we go through today's episode, because I just love doing it so much. So I'm just going to scroll through my notes and make sure I cover everything that I want to cover. So, as I said a moment ago, if you're looking to manifest something into your life, then this is a way to create space in order to do that. So, I'm going to start with the baby steps. So I love decluttering like super small spaces because it doesn't take a lot of time. Like I said, it's not this huge commitment, and it doesn't get overwhelming. And when you have success and you feel the way it feels after you do this work and these little small little bite-sized pieces, you realize how good it feels, and it helps you gain that momentum and keep doing it because it feels so great, right? It's not like some kind of huge, overwhelming task that you have to procrastinate. And so I'm gonna like let you know one of my favorite all-time spaces to start with, because everybody always, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people always want to manifest more money or more abundance in their life. And so a good place to clean out would be your wallet and your pocketbook. So, and it's a lot of fun. Something small, it's quick. And so what you could do is you could go through there, both the wallet and the purse. If you carry a purse, you could say, let me get rid of all the old receipts, maybe old shopping lists. There might be loose change just like everywhere. You might have all your dollar bills like stuffed in there, expired credit cards, old gift cards, whatever's in there. Clean it out, make it all neat and nice and tidy. And now the part that I love the most that makes decluttering fun is adding something a little something back in, right? So you're going to up level the experience, make it more beautiful, make it more comfortable. And so one of the things, like say as an example, once again, the purse. So you have loose change everywhere. So instead of having just all over the place, get a beautiful change purse. Maybe you want something that represents your style. I mean, maybe you're eclectic, so you get like something old from a thrift shop, or maybe you just like something super elegant. Whatever makes you feel good inside, get that and use that. Maybe you want to add a few crystals into your wallet that attract abundance. Whatever feels good to you, whatever's going to up-level that experience to you. So I absolutely love doing this. So it doesn't take more than 30 minutes to like declutter your wallet and your purse, right? And then to add these things back in, these might be things that you have in your house. If you're anything like me and you just have crystals like all over the place, you could just add that stuff back in immediately. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to purchase something to add back into that space. So another small area, I'm going to give you a list of a bunch that you could do. Okay. I know I made a list somewhere. Okay, so like a junk drawer in the kitchen, right? And this is a great thing to start with too, because that's where we just like throw everything, right? And if you don't have a junk drawer, I want to talk to you. I want you to reach out to me because I don't know anybody who doesn't have a junk drawer in their kitchen. And so this is a really quick area to declutter. And if you're like me, I like having an actual like paper list for my food shopping. It's like an ongoing list. So I put stuff on there. And if I'm going to run to the store, I actually don't usually bring the list with me. Sometimes I do if I'm short on time, but I usually snap a picture of it and then I just use that when I go to the store. So it's just like this ongoing list and then I'll cross things off. And so I love buying any type of stationery. I'm a total geek for like really nice journals, notebooks, planners, little pads like that I can keep in the kitchen for my food list. And so that might be the one beautiful thing that I'm going to add back in, right? So I clean the drawer, I make it all nice, and maybe I'll add that back in. I'll put like a nice notepad or something like that. Or maybe I'll just add a candle to the space, right? Something like that. Whatever makes it up levels the whole area to you, like something that's your favorite color. Something maybe you like to collect art. So maybe some kind of a piece of art that you want to add to the area. You could do just one drawer at a time in a dresser or a desk. I did that with my desk where I sit and work, like right here where I sit and work, there's 4 drawers and I did one at a time. And then when I finished, I got a few things for my desk that I like. And I can't really show you, but I like to have plans. Well, I could show you this thing. Now, if you're listening on the podcast and you want to see what I'm talking about, you'll have to come over to YouTube. Isn't this the cutest little planter? So I have this right on my desk. And so I love putting beautiful things around me when I'm at my desk. Here's another thing that my daughter got me because I just love this actress. So I think this candle is just hilarious. So that makes me smile, right? And so it's about up-leveling the area to you. I have another plant on the other side and it has like a blue pot. Turquoise blue is kind of my favorite color, right? Another thing that you could do is you could declutter the center console in your car. You can do the glove compartment, your medicine cabinet. There's so many more, but you're just cutting it into like little bite-sized pieces so it feels fun and good. And adding that nice touch of up-leveling the experience at the end just makes it so much fun, right? Sometimes you can get some organizers for your drawer, like go on Amazon or something and buy some nice organizers to get things really nice and neat. But whatever's going to make it feel good to you, that's what you should do. So I think doing this type of work helps, like I said at the beginning, it helps the area flow better. It makes you happy. I don't know. Doesn't it feel good when you like clean out your closet? Now, cleaning out the closet is a big chore. So I have to switch from winter to summer because my closet isn't big enough to hold everything. And it's not that I have a ton of stuff either. I guess that's all relative, but it's just because the space isn't that big, right? So I switch it out and I just did that. And my closet was a mess. It was such a mess. There was just stuff everywhere. And so getting it all straightened out and organized, it just felt so good. It feels so good to like help the area flow again. And it's nothing like when everything in your home is organized, right? And so doing these little things one little step at a time. Now I want to talk more about other things that we can declutter that don't really involve actual physical items. And so there's other things that clog up areas in your life. And sometimes you don't really know the effect that it has on you until you release it. And I'm going to give you a few examples. So the first example I'm going to use is I used to sell real estate a while ago. And so you're required to hold on to your files and stuff like that for, I think it's 3 years. I'm past that point now. And so when I passed that point, I went into like my phone and into my email. I got rid of all the files. And then I went into my contacts on my phone and I got rid of all the like realtors' names that I know I'm not going to ever speak to again. And I cleaned all of that out. And I didn't realize how much that was like weighing me down, because after I did that, I feel like it opened things up for my new business. It made room for my new business. It was almost like it validated my new business and helped me move into that further. But before I did that, it wasn't like I had a specific feeling that I was feeling. I wasn't feeling any type of stress from it. But when I released it, I felt better. All right. Another thing is maybe items from like an ex partner that you have that you've been holding on to. It carries an energy. So another story, I was married for almost 20 years, I guess. And when I got divorced, I got all the furniture, right? So I kept all the furniture. He didn't want the furniture. And we had really nice furniture. So I was like, I'm not going to get rid of it, right? And then this was years and years later. I was moving kind of from New York to North Carolina. So I was just going to sell everything. And I got rid of everything. And I had no idea how much energy that stuff carries, right? So when I got rid of all that stuff, it felt so good. It was like I let go. It was like there was this cord attaching me to my past, right? And when I got rid of that stuff, I was kind of like able to just let go of that part of my life. It really, and it kind of projected me forward quicker, if that makes sense. I just had this feeling, this release, and it was just so good. Another place that you could do this is you could look at your social media accounts. And I talked a little bit about this in Decluttering the Mind, talking about the kind of media that you expose yourself to. So I'm going to talk about it again because it's so important what we expose ourselves to. So if you're following certain people that don't serve you anymore, and what I mean by like that, you might love them, but maybe you've grown past that. So like I follow maybe some business coaches, right? And when I was first starting out, I was following this certain business coach, but now I'm kind of like past that. She's still teaching the same thing because that's what she teaches, right? That's what she specializes in, but I've learned that and I'm moving forward now. And so that doesn't serve me anymore. So I can unfollow her. I don't have to follow her anymore. I mean, you could still follow that person, but if you're going to be constantly seeing stuff that doesn't really serve you anymore, then it just kind of clogs things up, if that makes sense. So you're decluttering, so you're going to get rid of that stuff. Same thing with your email. So when you go into your email, you might have subscribed to, it could be some place that you bought something from that you used to love or you used to use all the time, and now you don't use it anymore. So you can unsubscribe. Unsubscribe from, maybe there's a person, same thing like a person you used to follow, you subscribe to their email list, but it doesn't really resonate with you anymore. So you can unsubscribe. Cleaning these things out, like I said, it creates this vacuum. So you're creating space, you're getting rid of one thing, and then you can bring in new things. You want trying to manifest something new in your life. You're like, so for example, myself, like I'm going to a next level in my business. So I'm going to follow a different coach. So I'm going to subscribe to her channel and maybe I'll unsubscribe from another coach that I don't really need anymore. Right. So it's about cleaning out the old. And as I wrote in the blog, I don't even want to talk about all the Facebook groups that I'm in. So I'm not like the huge Facebook fan. It's not my favorite platform. And it's not that I don't like the people on there. I make some really great friends on there. I do love the groups. Like I've had many, many benefits from the groups, and I've held groups on Facebook that have been very beneficial to me. I just don't like the vibe of Facebook. And I also don't like the way Facebook does business, especially with entrepreneurs. And so it's not my it's just not my favorite place to be or to do anything on. So, but the Facebook groups I really do like. But same thing as the emails and the social media. It's like there's people who I was once into, and now maybe I've outgrown them, or I've just moved into a different focus that I should opt out of those groups. But I don't. So yeah, I have to do that myself. But I do love the Facebook groups, but there are definitely ones that just don't resonate with me anymore. So that's one of the decluttering jobs that I can do. But I really, really do enjoy doing these little bite-sized pieces of decluttering. So that's what I mean by it's not just physical space. It's about really paying attention to how things affect your energy. And sometimes we don't always realize. I have another example. So even years and years and years after I got divorced, I was still friends on Facebook with my ex-husband's family. And I really didn't have any animosity against them, most of them at least. Right. So maybe some of them, but I was still connected to all of them on Facebook. And then something had happened that really upset me. And I was like, you know what? I'm just done. I'm done. And so I, unfollowed every single one of them. Now, I wasn't offended by every single one of them, but I unfollowed every single one of them because I just didn't want to be connected with that family anymore. My children weren't connected with them. There was no reason to be connected with them. And then when I unfriended all of them, it was like something was lifted from my body. And it was so much better not constantly seeing that stuff, a part of my old life that was from years and years before. It's just so weird how we don't realize how those things affect our energy and how much energy it sucks from us until we do something about it, and then we regain that energy. And so when we declutter, just like I said at the beginning, we reduce friction, right? We create flow. And when we do that, we reduce stress and anxiety. So reducing stress and anxiety, this is driving me crazy, by the way, that light right there. I need to put I have my shade down, but it still comes through. So for those of you listening on the podcast, if you come over and watch me on YouTube, you could see what I'm talking about. Okay, it went away. The sun was shining through my blinds and making stripes on my face. So anyway, I do everything possible to reduce stress and anxiety because I'm just more prone to that. And as most of you know, I had a stroke at the age of 39 caused by stress. And so it is just my life's work to figure out all the different ways that I can reduce these frictions in my life and create more calm and more flow to help reduce the stress and anxiety. And there's so many different ways you could do that. And this is just one small thing that you could do to help yourself. As I said at the beginning of this deep level self-care series, and I'm not sure how many podcast episodes I've done on this. I think this might be 4 or 5. I'm not really sure, but I have 11 total, but the decluttering was counted as one. So there's really going to be more like 15. So these are all the different practices that I share inside of my boot camp, the Soul Aligned Self-Care Boot Camp, which is my signature program. It's usually a self-study program, but starting in December, registration opens. And in January, I'm going to do a live launch, meaning I'm going to walk everybody through each one of these different modules. And I'm so excited about doing this because I have never worked that closely with the people inside of the boot camp. And so if you are interested in going deeper into any of these practices in the Deep Level Self-Care series, then I want you to get on the wait list for the boot camp, and the link will be in the show notes. So just hop on there if you're interested. And when registration opens, you'll be the first notified. So let me just check my notes and make sure I don't have anything less that I want to tell you all about. Okay. All right, that's it. I guess I'm going to end with by decluttering your mind, decluttering your space. And next week, I'm going to be talking about decluttering your processes. And what I mean by that, it's the way you do things in your life. And it's kind of like your standard operating procedure, if you're a business owner, of your life. So, what's the procedure when you cook dinner? What's your procedure when you get ready in the morning? How do you work out every day? How do you do all these things? And when you declutter these processes, what you're doing is you're reducing as much friction from these processes to make everything flow easier in your life. And when you do this, you actually create more time for yourself. So if you're the type of person who feels like they never have enough time, or you're really stressed out all the time, this episode will definitely be for you. That's next week. And that's one of my favorite things to do with my clients is decluttering their processes because it's super magical. Sometimes you can gain up to an hour a week doing this work. So, which doesn't sound like a lot, but breaking up into every day, it gives you like a little time for yourself. You're giving yourself time back to do the things that you love. And so I love doing the decluttering. Now, if you combine decluttering the processes with decluttering the space and decluttering the mind, you could probably gain an hour a day by doing all that work. So definitely, if you haven't listened to the other decluttering parts of the series, then go back and listen to that, and definitely join me for next week. Okay, guys, until next week, definitely practice deep level self-care every day. If you love this podcast, I would love for you to go on Apple and give me a 5-star rating. And if you can, leave a review. I think you can only leave a review on Apple Podcasts. This helps the show get in front of more people. So it helps me help more people. So I'd love for you to do that. Okay, guys, I'll see you next week. Bye.